What's up, guys? Flip this thing around a bit. I'm live in the garden this moment, guy. Getting some tomatoes in. That's our mission today. And playing with our local tomato contraption here a bit. Got my brother Polly there in the background. But yeah, guys, we have a lot going on today. These are some of my plants as far as update some plants that I did from seed. Some marigold there, some tomato. This is the Taste Master. This is the name of this one. The more marigold. I think these are some Roma tomato. And then we got the Better Boy tomato and these up here. Got some nice kale. Need to get in the ground as well. So yeah, we got our work cut out in the afternoon here. We've been going for a while. Already get some Roma tomato in the ground already. As you can see what I'm playing with. We're doing vertical growing is what we're doing right now with this tomato. So yeah, we definitely got a lot going. I have some of these younger marigold that I had that didn't get potted. You know, they're still in the root starter thing, so I just figured I just put these straight in the ground in between while I plant my tomato. You know, like as you see here. So yeah, we already get going. These are also some Roma tomatoes sitting to the side here. So a ton of tomato we have going this season. You know what I mean? So if you're joining the live, give me a thumbs up on the live. And share your thoughts. Let me know how your garden season is going. I think we got 7 tomatoes. These are all Roma going down. We're gonna do vertical. As you can see, these already have their rope going. Just need to get these at the more, you know, tie the rope up more stiff as the tomato go. So not concerned about that right now though. But for the very instant moment, we definitely have it going. It's a special addition to the garden here this season, guys. Anybody who's into hot pepper and hot sauce and all that. See a California Reaper right there. I'm excited to try this out this season. It's a popular pepper in the hot pepper world. If you like hot pepper, and you've probably heard of that one. I've grown that one before. But yeah, as you can see, I have this row going. I have this metal thing that I put last year, you know, to kind of help me to create an angle and maximize my space here in this small bed. Basically, this is like a tent, as you can see. So, you know, I have to make it work, you know. So for that reason, I put different thing that can help me, just like how this today. I put this tie strap here on this angle, you know, so I can get another row of tomato, which is gonna be right underneath that tie strap. Is where I'm gonna anchor my string to create my vertical effect or my support for these, you know. So these are all Roma tomato that's gonna go in this angle and in this row. As you can see, I have one set beside, give me my mark already. So you're gonna come from this one, go right down, straight across. And then I've been just putting a little organic earthworm casting at the root. As well, I have my organic soil mix right there that I'm using. So it's another additive I'm using. So it's an extra Roma tomato I'm getting in the ground. That's the mission right now. So vertical just like last season, but this season I have a more grip on it. I have more head start with my plants, and I also have a better angle on what I'm doing. Last season I did plant some tomato, and they got out of hand, and my whole vertical option, our plan got kind of changed around a bit. So this season I'm more aware of it, and I'm ahead of the game. So needless to say, definitely looking forward to a good season and a successful harvest. These actually are some tomato that I'm eventually gonna have to move. These came up by themselves from last year. Tomato that leave, to rot on the ground. So some of it I might use, but I've already have so much Roma tomato. As you can see on my tomato here. So these are just still amongst a few. I still have some plants inside the house, in the tent. But yeah, all these guys are from seeds. All individual seeds, and actually dollar store seed is a lot of was my option. I have some other seeds here. I'm gonna start some basil, especially in between these tomatoes. So this is a different type of seed. I still got some from that burpee brand, which the dollar store do have that brand as well. These are some other organic options. I wanna get some cucumber in for sure. Those I'm gonna do directly in the soil. Instead, I start some from container. And I have some pot chai here that these are like early harvest. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, brother. Yeah, I appreciate that advice, and totally remind me of that. I definitely gonna have that in the near future, creating my own worm casting and my own worm bay. But it's sometimes it take step by step. Got all my seeds blown away. But yeah, I'm totally inspired by that. And I have already have planned and seen some video from some of the OGs from over in England. Like Charles Darning, if you ever heard of him, he's pretty big on the YouTube as far as gardener and giving out. So, and then I have this guy in Australia too. I like his channel, the Weedy Gardener. There are two that I admire as far as their worm casting and how they set it up. So I'm definitely gonna do that. But for now, I did buy it, unfortunately, and it's not cheap, in the sense that that tiny bag. I think it was 8 something. But yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Give thanks. Bless up. Thanks for joining the live. But yeah, so I'm gonna set this up in the tripod a bit here a moment and get some action going as far as giving you guys a view into what I have going today. Set this tripod back into where it was. And I'm losing my angle with this thing, and it was imperfect setting earlier, but I was doing some work around the garden, so it got moved. Need to get it back on a good angle. Oh yeah, we're just gonna get some tomato in the ground, because we got so much tomato plant right now, guys, to finally get in the ground, because it's like in the May right now. So You know, it's time to get these planting to establish in the ground. But I'm not worried, guys. You know, I've seen what's out there, and I've seen what lot of folks got from, you know, the garden center, and I'm pleased with my position that I'm in right now, as far as my plants, the growth that they are at right now, and all that good stuff. Yeah, there, man. We'll just here we go. Setting up back that tripod back to a Alright. So yeah, blessings to everyone that's on the live or that have joined the live. I put this thing down a bit here. So that some of our tomato that we got go on into the soil already. Yeah, we got quite a few tomato here to get in the ground. We're gonna keep it with the aroma tomato. You know, and this soil is already a healthy soil, you know, guys. But I still have some soil mix that I'm also adding in for more rich and more dense, you know, because if you remember last season I just started this garden bed. So it's still developing, you know. So as I plant, I'm coming in, I'm adding a little extra organic soil, rich, full of nutrients and organic matter. You know, this is a soil mixed with cow manure. There's some cow manure in here and a little of this worm casting as well as in the mix, and some topsoil as well as some organic garden compost soil that I got. You know, so as I come, move this machete. Trying to plant the taller one like in the middle. So like for example this one right here. Beautiful roots, guys. You know, these plants are healthy. And as you remember, these are all from seed. If you remember anyone that have watched that live when I just planted it. You know, so I've been just using my hand because like I said, the surface is pretty soft. Or if I feel it's a bit hard, I have my machete here. You know, so been teasing up the soil a bit, working it because it's been sitting idle for a while, you know, and you know, like for example, some of these extra roots from weeds that was growing. You know, so nothing perfect. You know, that's what with gardening, you know, we don't have to make it difficult. Sometimes it's pretty easy, you know, than we make it. You know, so beautiful tomato, all from seed. So yeah, I've been just getting a little bit of worm casting as well, and just adding a little more to my root. Where I'm adding my root in my tomato, getting rid of this extra little in here. Tomato guys can always go deep, you know, because you literally can get root to come from the side of these here. So you can always put your tomato deep. So yeah, I've been just going like that. And yeah, that's one planting again. And as you know, it's gonna be vertical. This string is already here. Typically, I do get this string on the tomato, you know, and get the upper part afterwards. But this is already was sitting, you know, from last season. But for demonstration, you know, I just create a whole loop into it, you know, to create like a slip knot type of effect, you know, around the tomato. And there's different ways, guys, to do it, you know. I'm gonna demonstrate a few different ways here in a second. But But yeah, but for now it's just an easy way to get that slip knot around the tomato, the body of the tomato. And use this card to support it as it grow and come up. But for this, I'm gonna have to loose it up here to get my tension going. So yeah, if you're joining the live, guys, give me a thumbs up, like the live. If you're just coming along, give me a subscribe, and support the mission. But yeah, all organic gardening. But yeah, so as I expressed, if I was coming from the bottom first, I would do my slip knot, then I go up top, create my tension, and then go back and tie. And as the tomato grow, you're gonna weave it in, and you can always loose it and move it around. So same here, I create that my little slip knot up top. Not sure if you're seeing me so clear on the higher arm level. Wait, these are all Roma tomatoes. So I'm just going straight down the angle here, trying to maximize the space. We have a ton of tomato going for the season. And we have a ton of plants going. Move this around a bit and show you. Guys. You have a ton of plant going over there. It's on the angle right now. There you go. Just trying to move the tripod as it is. So we have a ton of plant stage right there to go in the ground. Different type of tomato. And companion plants. Urban spice. Got some. Let's see what I was going up top there. My angle. But if I put it up too high, then I don't get the my whole ground coverage, which is what I'm going towards, so bear with me if you're not seeing too much on the higher level as I go up. I'm gonna demonstrate putting how I did my tie strap right there in a moment. But that's what I'm using right now to create that tension where I can tie my string for the top section, for the support, for these tomatoes that I'm growing vertical. And another level I could have invest and create like a wooden type of thing, as far as that support and go across. But that's a whole different investment, and that's the thing, with gardening. Sometimes we don't have to do too much, Use what we have and make it work instead of overthinking it. So. But yeah, that's what the mission is, to just keep going, get these plants in the ground, plant those tomatoes, keep coming up the line right here, and just fill this thing with whole tomato and basil. Marigold, obviously, for a little bit of pest control, and as well as pollinator attraction. We're gonna work in it. So. Yeah, have this other line here, so then just keep going on the line here with these tomatoes. It in my hole that's deep, because like I said, guys, you can get tomato as deep as can. It's not like some plant where you can't go do too deep. Tomato can go pretty deep. Like this nice root ball. Kind of come along and open up a bit down the bottom here. But yeah, guys, this thing I can go as deep as even here easily, and it's just gonna support it more and get more stronger and vigorous. Start new root inside the ground, as far as. So you can do that with tomato. Get some of my alcohol cast in here, sprinkle it among the root, and another planting. So. There's always the roots going in the ground, guys. So all that can go back to feed in the soil, but it's good to get rid of those from around your plant roots. Give it a good start. So yeah, I'm just easing up the soil, adding a little extra organic soil, little bit of worm casting. Kind of working in between this string that's been here from last season. So see, this one was fully ready to go in the ground, so it's just about time. Nice root ball, nice root system. Same thing, I can go deep, plant it deep down. And I feel bad for some of these baby tomatoes that start from seed, that left in the ground from last season. Because I really had so much tomato go inside the house. I'm not gonna be utilizing much of these ones, so yes, I'm kind of stepping on some of them. So you're still getting a good view angle, yeah. I'll put it on my recast just the same. And earlier I was planting these guys, I wasn't thinking too much, of the height and the different growth of tomatoes. And over here is another aroma. So I'm trying to get the taller ones in the middle. But if I was thinking earlier, these bigger ones that I planted at the end, I would have put in the middle. But I was getting ahead of myself earlier and just wanted to get some plants in. But I wasn't thinking that I was gonna run into that too much yet. In that sense, but they're gonna grow pretty fast and pretty quick anyway, and they are the same age, just some obviously are bigger than the other. Yeah, plant this deep down as I can. Get it down in there. So these guys and how high I bring it up as far as with the soil around it. So I'm gonna get all that extra new root down in my soil. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Take this tripod thing here out a bit. Earlier, this is what we moved on a previous video I shared. See, the first experiment of our container garden, we did have some of those little caterpillar worm that was eating on this. So something to look out for in the season as it goes. But as I expressed though, the bigger picture in this, that we're gonna be doing some container garden this season. And this is just a tip of it. So I just some bean that I did for experiment and had to put them somewhere because they were overgrown in the seed starter. So I have to move them. Is the reason why I put them in here. to just kickstart my experiment in the container garden this season. It's a beautiful bouquet of marigold plant. It's all from seed as well, and I transplant them in here. You know, they were kind of a bit overgrown in the seed starter before I transplant them. That's the reason why you're seeing bloom and not much big, vigorous growth. But I know when I put them in the ground, that's gonna be the change in the game soon. And these are the rest of my container that I'm looking to wash. Got a little soap and some bleach there. That's a little extra sterilization. But overall, these container guys, they were food grade. They were using a frozen distributor. You know, they distribute frozen food. You know, so that's where I got these from. A person that was getting rid of, because that business was no longer operating in that facility. So they are food grade and they're decent size. And as you can see, I think the length of it is like 3 feet and almost a foot height as far as depth. You know, for the plant root to go. So that's the good enough. You know, so definitely more than 9 inches, for example. You know, even like winter plant. Our plant you look to come back each season you wanna go deep as 9 inches. So that's way over 9 inches. So I'm not worried. But yeah, these kale are just beautiful kale. As you see, already overgrown in the seed starter. That already need to get going in the ground. You know, in a couple weeks I can start to cut kale leaf and enjoy a few, you know, kale salad or some steamed kale. You know, these are my Better Boy tomato. And surprisingly, I don't know why, I think I only have end up with 8 Better Boy tomato, which is a lot of tomato for one species or one type of tomato overall, you know. So I'm not concerned to the amount of tomato I do have in choice and option. You know, and these are some more Roma tomato. Getting the bigger ones, some out of it, and get them in the ground. Those 8 Better Boy, get them beside each other. Go in here shortly, same vertical. And here we got the Taste Master. It's a hybrid. These are all Taste Master. Each one we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 down on the bottom, and then we got these 4 in between. So at least 14 individual plants. Some of the planter does have 2. We're still gonna just count it as 14, you know, of that Taste Master species. So a lot, you know. Bunch of marigold here still need to go in the ground. You know, so it's a great feeling, guys, you know, and to knowing that all these seed are all these plant, you know, sometimes I bring that, you know, right before my other. You know, so which I'm confusing myself now within seed and plant. But anyway, these are all from seed. All plants from a tiny seed. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was using my machete, which, as I said, I felt sorry for all these extra tomato that came up, because I try to go around this one to save it, and when it get big, I move it. But there's so much of them that came up, guys, and I already have so much tomato. As you can see, that is so much more advanced in one grown. You know, so these tiny one that start automatically from the seeds that fell on the ground last season, I definitely won't be utilizing them too much. Let me just get my ground here dig nice and deep. I've been just getting a look at my worm casting, which is right over here, and adding it in as I put in my root. You know, some people would have different fertilizer. You know, I only grow organic, guys. I'm gonna be using organic mulch, compost, my own black soil that I have, and top these off in the near future, and also feed it with some of my liquid fertilizer that I have. So all marigold that I'm gonna be putting in between. See, these guys didn't get to go. This one was. Oh, this was the burpees mixed color. So different type. I know this was the jaguar type, which as you can see all over already with the blooming, early blooming. Yes, and it's a perfect example of how you can see even some of those that already separate and transplant. You see, this is literally 4 guys growing in this tiny thing. So even though you see this blooming, it's just the age of it. Obviously, I start them in from inside when it was colder. So it's really just the age of this marigold why you see this bloom in such a small seed starter space. So as these one didn't get to transplant individually, like some of these. In the back I have some more as far as bigger one, and in the tent there's some bigger one as well. You know, but I know when I put them in the ground they're gonna be vigorous soon. So there's no worries onto that. But that's kind of what I was doing here. You know, get them in between each tomato row. When I keep going, when I get some basil, when I start some basil from seed, fresh, you know, in the ground in between these tomato row as well. You know, so between the basil and the marigold, that would be my companion plant, and in the some sense of pest control for this organic growing method. You know, the basil does detour the scent of it, you know, and the same thing with the marigold. That's what the pests they don't like. I have this plant, this really doesn't hold on here. Get this thing anchored in the ground, guys. That's my but man, this to show you how the soil, even though we've been getting some rain, and this is in the garden bed. I'm trying to get my tripod to go down in it, and it's like just not giving me that leverage to get a good angle to make it stick. That's what I was fighting with for a few seconds there. But yeah, you get the picture though overall. Like, when just digging out this hole deeper. But this tomato, the root of it is kind of a bit fragile, I can see. It's not one of them that was transplanted too long, you know, into this pot. So it was just establishing its root in the pot. As far as that, so trying to pick it out with my one hand. It's not strong enough to come out with the root ball. But yeah, we already have a good amount of tomato in. We got 7 going down the line. We're just gonna repeat. So they're not too far apart from each other, you know, guys, as you can see. It's my first 3-row demonstration. And this one we're gonna continue going down in the middle. You know, right now I can walk between the space, you know, when they're growing. There's no way I can move between this. So it's more I'm gonna be working from the outside of him. And as they go in vertical, I don't need a lot of space. And as the tomato, they're not gonna be too bushy, you know, so not worrying about that either. These beautiful plants here, guys. Just extra wild weed that come up sometime in the season that act as a pollinator. Before you can get your garden going, before your store-bought stuff get going, these are the wild weeds that go, and all this whole hillside, guys, used to be bush until I decide to clean it. There's videos on my channel as far as when I was sharing the process and creating this new space here for a complete gardening where one time I used to come and just plant a root of stuff in between here and there. There used to be a lot of weeds. Now you can see now I didn't even do much heavy cleaning, especially in between here. A couple of days ago I did the cleaning to get this bed prep from the extra little weeds that was there, but there's not much that I had to do. It's a beautiful sage plant that my friend Josh gave me last season. It was sitting here in a cup all winter that I buried underneath, some leaves and all that. So it take root. Season started, I just cut the cup from around it, regular plastic cup, disposable, and I have this new sage plant going here, right at the root of my garden bed. So it's another beautiful thing. We always kind of continue to come back and reproduce. Yeah, maybe I can get this thing going from that angle. That other section was just a little too much. My tomato out there. Here we can get that flush there for a second. I already put some cast in there in the root. But yeah, this is just a little too fragile, guys. To come out. I was pulling it, holding the tripod with one hand. Try to pull it, but once I tease it a bit, it comes out. And that's the thing, This is the least amongst, as far as I've seen, as with this happening here, even this one wouldn't happen like that, This one, you can tell that it definitely didn't grip and go into that existing soil as yet. But these are still root attached, so they will just definitely hold on and start to take off in this new soil. Oh yeah, that's why that plant wasn't coming up. I definitely didn't get a chance to hold itself into the root ball of that soil enough. And this one is a whole different thing. Probably I could get away with holding this one like that and it do better. That's the difference between some plants. Those bigger ones that I did already, I didn't have that problem with either. It's kind of a little bit hard still, guys, because this is a new garden bed that I'm still working in. Adding organic component and organic compost as I go. So it's the second season now in this bed. So since we have this extra little root thing going on in the ground, that's why we kind of still building it up right now. So that's why I'm not afraid to dig a bit down into the soil. Bring our bucket, like, but this is some organic soil I was using, which I already put some on the ground layer already to build it up. But same thing with a little bit of worm casting. And yeah, we just come at this thing in the ground. Definitely more tomato than I probably gonna be needing this season. But like I said, more better than less. But yeah, how much tomato we got already? With just one species, that's the Roma. So soon we're gonna be going up with the string go vertical. You can see these one already on their string coming up all strong and healthy. As they get strong and more vigorous, guys, and come, you get the string, you wrap it around. You can always lose the tension of the string, as you move up along. But I haven't even watered these in yet, so it's gonna be cool when I water them in finally. They sit into the new ground. Yeah, that's quite a few tomato already. One species, a vertical. And we're gonna just continue going up the line in the middle. Gonna be doing some veg, like our kale or cabbage. Some other urban spice down here on the side. Or cola crop in the back. Cucumber, I'm thinking of doing cucumber in some of those container, as I'm gonna do container gardening this season. Some mints and all of that stuff. I'm gonna be doing mint in container as well. Keep that more contained. So I'm definitely excited about that. But yeah, got new pepper this season. Still working with our Fisker machete. We need to get some of those Martindale machete up and running. It'll come with a live video as far as working with those machete. We have three machete that we want to sharpen, brand new. So yeah, we have this California Reaper pepper, hot pepper. Yeah, so it's gonna be a new one to test this season as well. I never grown it before, so I'm gonna do it in container so we can keep the root alive and replant it over the season. I think I've watched one of my elder done that before. So Gerald Stafford on his YouTube thing. And I think I see him with a California Reaper pepper that he have in the pot, where he have a way that he winterize it and restart it. Oh yeah, this is like all two going down beside each other right now. So 7 and 7, that's 14 already. And the extra one. So that's 15 individual Roma tomato is this species. We still have our taste master and our better boy in the middle. Some other gourmet tomato that we have in the back. Remind me, guys, this is just by I still need to get some spring cleaning continuous. So this is just my little messy spot as far as all those extra little bucket stuff in the back there. All from gardening. That I need to reposition, get the place clean up more. As you can see, all this was all leaf and buried in leaf. So I did some cleaning as far as getting that area clean. We still have our container to get ready for container garden setup. These are some of my things that I'm gonna use for my container garden setup. These I already test three of the container thing, working barefoot, guys, growing it into the soil. So that's about. But yeah, this is gonna be like a whole movable thing that I can move around. Actually, just get off this other little piece of man-made material. That's kind of some rope that was on it. I don't really want on it because I'm gonna grow food. Not necessarily touching it, but still. And not get rid of the extra man-made material, right? So yeah, it was just a carrier. One of those things on the wheel. So I'm definitely gonna use it to put these container on. So I can literally move them around when I start. So all that full of soil, my container garden setup. This is what the mission is. So after I get these washed and ready, prep with my soil, ready to plant food. In previous videos I expressed this thing I lift and move. Test my strength for today. It was a good lift. Make me feel stronger and knowing that I can lift something like this and move it by myself and not hurt myself in that sense. That I did lift it with precaution, carry it with awareness, and so I literally moved these guys by myself across from the other side of the house, you know, through the house and come land it here on the spot for right now. So same thing, I see somebody that was getting rid of this metal thing. I'm gonna use it as one of my stand again for my container gardening thing. I think I've seen this one can fit four of the container side by side. So if I do decide to grow vegetable, then I don't have to worry about the pot sitting on the ground. It's a good height up off the ground, from extra critters to follow it around. So container gardening is definitely looking alive this season. And I'm excited. Yeah, this is just I look at my extra soil mixing that I was adding in to enrich my soil. Let's add some of these cow manure, especially this one right here. Black cow manure. This one I like this one too. This one is more already mixed with other adamant. This one is more on the raw side. Maybe they mix it with some soil, I don't know, but this one have other mixed in it. Like I think I even see some perlite in this one. So it's more loose and more almost ready like just individual soil to use in like a pot. But I'm just using it to enrich the soil that I'm adding onto the surface of this garden bed. Excuse me. As well as down into the root of the soil. With also a little handful of worm casting. That's kind of like my thing that I'm using. As far as some folks would use fertilizer, whether organic fertilizer, and like for example, I know blood meal, blood meal is obviously our bone meal, even I should say. Correction, bone meal. It's obviously the bone of, like fish bones and all that, but probably other animal bones, I'm not sure, but so some people use that to put at the root of their tomato or that organic powder. Fertilizer thing, which I don't really use much of that. I kind of just go strict organic. Add my organic mulch and black gold soil that I create. And help enrich my garden bed. Is what I typically do. I'm gonna be using some and I get some water in on these tomatoes that I have going so far. Better angle. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna be using some liquid fertilizer this season as well that I'm gonna make, which is from basically broken down plant in water. Give me a second here. I'm just gonna get that hose going. We can water these 14 Roma tomato that we already have going in the ground. and a vertical setup. Get my hose going. Oh, yeah, so the last thing we do before we finish off the evening here is get some water in. Get the water going here. I don't want that setting. A bit of setting. Hey guys, a beautiful tomato that I just put in the ground. So try to get more down on the root surface a bit more. Water pressure is a little bit too high, but it's working still. Get some water on this plant. Some water in the middle of it, yeah. This tomato need a lot of water to drink. You know, the kind of new transplants I'm not worrying about, getting a little bit of water on the body of it. But as they grow and start to fruit, I'm typically gonna water them from the root and then get that water going. That's a marigold growing between them already. But it's just a tip of it, guys. Just a little bit of the tomato that we have for this season. Because we have so much. It's like literally just 14 Roma tomato that I get in the ground right now. And I water on the side here. There's like a mullein plant growing in the side that I probably need to move overall, but still getting it some water. You can get the base of those tomato roots as well. Here we literally have I said 14, but it's actually 15 because I was counting the 2 rows that go up all the way to the length of the tent here. We still have this one smaller one down on the ground here. It makes 15. It's like a third row coming up. Yeah, these are just a handful of the Roma tomatoes that start from seed this season. Everything we did from seed. So as I get this bed here prepped, get some tomato in. You know, gonna be a great season. There's some caramel there. That herbal tea remedy. Relaxation that help you to sleep and all that. We after planting, just getting some nice water. Hey guys, it's gonna be nice. For sure this season. A lot of tomato going. I'll move this thing around here. You can see these are the taste master. I need to get these in grown as well. These are the better boy tomato. Got a nice lush greenery of kale coming up there to the side that I need to get in the ground as well. And got the water going in the wrong direction. There we go, that's better. Yeah, these are just amongst the few tomatoes that I planted in this bed just now. You can see we have 7 going down the line. These are the Roma species. I didn't know that Roma tomato is good for sauce. So everything is already on the string as far as support, except this one right here. The string is already here to go. I think that's enough with the water right now. Water pressure is a little bit too high as well, guys. Hey, that's better. Yeah, that water was getting a little rushing too much. But I think I had enough water going though. All right now. I'm all bare feet and grounded in the soil at the moment. I'm gonna turn off this pipe. It's just a tip to my container garden this season. We definitely have a lot going to plan, and this was the first experiment of that container garden. You know, some plant that I needed to just get into the soil, get out of the seed starter. These are just the tip of it. It's a radish that the little worms are eating, and but it was in the dark section of the back there, so I see why the worm attack it more. And I pick it up today, bring it across. So yeah, I just need to get these washed and start my container garden setup, which I'm gonna stage more off to the side here. You know, we have this asphalt space in the back, so like more, you know, some cucumber I'm definitely gonna do in container. More shady plant, you know, after all this area here. Grow up with all my tomato. This is mostly gonna be tomato, guys. And we already have the Roma species going. I just need to get the other ones and continue. A lot of string going on at the moment, as you can see. Some string was there from last season, so look a bit colorful there in the background. We got some marigold that we're gonna be adding in between our roots. Like these marigold, you see, end up with two different plants in just this small seed starter. You know, so it's definitely helped stun the growth them a bit in that sense that they already needed to go as it got all that root to transplant. So in no time they're gonna be taking off in the soil. I know that for sure, you know. You know what I mean? But like for example, these are a bit bigger that I was able to transplant, you know, maybe a little over a week ago. You know, so even if I give these couple days more to get, you know, rooted more into what they are, it'll get bigger, you know, by the time I transplant them. But they're ready to go in the soil and I'm ready to put stuff in the soil, so there's no much waiting on that as far as that go either. You know, so that's the mission, guys. Today I definitely feel accomplished between yesterday, you know, I prepped this bed, get rid of the extra weeds. Today I was like, you know, it's time to get some plants in. And so yeah, getting these tomatoes in give me a good feeling. Probably gonna stage this here a bit again and get a few more marigold planting in the ground. And you just keep going, guys, because season is going ahead, you know, so plants definitely need to be going into the ground. I keep destroying these things because I'm gonna reuse them as far as next season. But yeah, these are all marigold. You know, look at even this one with three different marigold in it. So that's why this one didn't get so big. You know, but I transplant them, they get a good going. Yeah, I'm just gonna come in and put some between these tomatoes here. Get a nice barrier going. These are all Roma tomato, guys, that I just planted today. Beautiful, healthy plant. You have some tomatoes that came up from last season. Rotten tomatoes that left on the ground, you know. So, you know, they're getting trampled. You know, this is one of them. But I can't save them right now. I have already have so much tomato that's already established. You know, so I'm not looking to start any more tomato. I'm just a tiny stage. I already have so much bigger than even what's we're at the store for sale. You know, so if you're joining the live, welcome. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed as yet. We're getting some Roma tomato and some marigold plants in. as well as an update on all the different plants that I have. Remember, guys, these are all from seed. Remember that live back? A lot of you watch that live, when I started it from seed. So I'm excited. It's going to be a big, great season. Even at the community garden, a lot of folks that have already got their seed going. The tomatoes are smaller than mine still, even though I have tomato in starter. So I'm excited. When I see, like, for example, and the angle right up there, that are some of the different type of tomato that I'm have working with as well. We have the Better Boy tomato. And the Taste Master is one of them. We had a bunch of marigold as well and some kale staging over that side. But overall, we have a lot of plants, guys. We have a ton of plants inside the house, in the tent still that I had feature. That's where I use a little light to get these plants their sun energy, that I get this head start, a few months away before the season would open up to give us warmer weather. Now I can finally get them inside the ground outside, and from here now it's just organic growing, watering and mulching, organic all the way. So yeah, I'm not then I have no worries about tomato this season. There's more than I'm gonna be able to even consume, probably. I just keep adding few of these marigold. We have so much marigold, but man, like even this one, there's literally 5 baby marigold growing in this thing here. So like I was doing in previous video, just gonna separate some of these. And they're just gonna fight in for nutrients with each other. So I took 3 from it, as you can see, it still have good root. Put these two together in this root here. So yeah, in no time these are gonna take off in this soil. The smaller ones I can just, for example, I can put this one right here. More plant anyway. Especially this other one. You can see, guys. They still have good root. Put this one right here. Tomorrow morning I come and give these some nice watering. Before the sun heat can come up as well. So even though I'm watering them right now, still gonna give them some more. This thing needs some support, guys. This is a chamomile plant. Sometimes I don't pronounce it well, but chamomile, that plant to make tea. Oh yeah, it's kind of falling over. Kind of give it a little support to stay up. It probably does need a little support, so it can stay upright. Eventually, it will stay upright, but it's a lot of bloom on it, so it's kind of top heavy as well. Oh yeah, support it a bit there. I probably wasn't seeing fully what I was doing, but what I was doing right there. A chamomile plant. Make some healthy herbal tea. That thing help you relax. And I'm actually gonna wash my hand and then gonna come and do that tie strap there. Get that tie strap going. And up to end. But yeah, definitely got a good start and a good run going today as far as what we got accomplished. Hey Mary. Hey, these tie strap that I use to help me create tension. I'm gonna be using to help make this vertical grow of tomato here more easier. As I need, things tie my string on up top. So I'm using these tie strap here to solve that problem. So yeah, I already do that one. As you can see, it's already have its tension. So that's just gonna be my top anchor for my string. When I lead them from the tomato, the root of the tomato, or the lower body part of the tomato. So yeah, just some tie strap I use. Like for example, this one, you can see, and I get it going. Then these tie strap eyes even make the tent seem stronger. Even though it kind of loose, these are the ones that I had from last season. But they bring in the tent, I feel, and make it feel stronger. These kind of get loose, as I can see. These was already tension, so I'm kind of bringing it in. So these I'm gonna have to change. Yeah, I've been just using these tie straps. It is gonna be my anchor for my top support. It's just way to make whatever you have work. You know what I mean? So that's just what that little part was about. But overall, the mission is done here and the action is done this lower part here. But yeah, overall it's a good thing though, because you can see in a better angle where I was going, where I'm coming from. So as you can see, we only had the center piece. Last season I did create this wire for my little top support. It's funny. Yeah. But yeah, I think sometimes it's not to complicate yourself and just make whatever you have work. Honestly, those are some molding guys. I wash off more to make herbal tea. So yeah, as you can see, those two tie strap give me two more center anchor to bring my string up and tie them on. Is the mission. Actually, I wanna demonstrate a couple string and show you guys. Oh, they're getting wet. My seeds package is there. I wanna definitely don't wanna get those wet too much to pick up much moisture. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you what I was doing with these strings. And how I anchor my tomato on a vertical way. Hmm. You're not gonna see all my top and bloody. I don't have anyone to move the camera. So you might not see every details of what exactly I'm doing, but I'm just taking this existing card that I have up here so I can reuse it. Well, like for example, this tomato right here, I just come in of my card, put it around the body of the tomato. Is where this is just one option. You know, you have other options. Oh yeah, I'm just creating this because slip knot. You can see me clearly. Creating like a slip knot is the name for this tie. So yeah, with slip knot is where you can move it. You know, you can move the string and you know bring it in on whatever object and tie it more tight on the knot. But I don't really tie it. I bring it in too tight, so I give room for so that it doesn't choke the tomato plant body obviously. This tomato is pretty fragile right now, guys. So but yeah. So then this is how I'm gonna come up using my tie strap anchor. So there's not much body on this tomato right now, so there's not much angle to hold on, as far as the string. But for now, we wanna give it a little support to just train it to come along. So he's going vertical this season, so. Just put this a bit. So we're gonna be losing these cards as this string goes. And as the tomato may need more tension. So yeah, as it go, we can always move the string. Some pro card I was using from last season. It's a regular card. Not necessarily even garden card or probably a string that they would sell at marketing for garden. It's just a regular card, guys. Actually, there's an extra length of card there that coming from the other one. You can see it's already supporting that one. A lot of card of it. I had the idea to use it to support the other tomato beside it as well. So exactly what I'm gonna do. Wait, this one is like one of my worst tomato was to do that demonstration. It really doesn't really have much limb on it, to hold the string as far as so this string is moving around and I don't want it to just choke and snap the tomato away. Here you go, that's a better angle. Okay, this one right here, I'm gonna use this string to support it. As it go weak, I can leverage it up from top. But for right now, I wanna get as much as I can about it. Cause now that is going in for two tomato instead of one. So yeah, I'm just creating the same slip knot. It's definitely not gonna be firm now, guys, because as I'm telling you, hold on, you need to create this knot at a better angle. But this is not typically the way that I go about it. I also can put the. Why is this not? That's weird. Okay then, it's the angle that I'm at. That is funny as well. The angle that I'm at, guys, I'm creating the slip knot, but this keep going in, keep getting loose from how my perspective is looking at it. Huh, that is funny as well. Ah, feel like I'm just learning here right now. But we're not professional anyway, so I'm facing the angle and it's just giving me a different view from how I would normally create my knot. And I'm creating it and it's coming apart. It's like showing me the angle from a different direction. I just need to focus on what I'm doing here. That's not even how I want it. But typically, this is not how I start these cards and these guys. This is just been sitting here already. And I typically start it from the bottom and then anchor it up top. Instead the card being up top. And that little thing fight me more longer than I wanted. Wanted it to be or it should have been. Not sure what happened there. And I still doesn't get the result that I want. Yeah, that was strange. That was one of them rookie kind of style moment where you feel like something that you do already so much. You're doing and it's giving you trouble. The pipe going over that side, I had to go move it. I think maybe even if I was on the inside, I would have get a better angle of that. It's a different card that I make sense that I want to remove right now. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this here. Oh, I see. fell out because the tension of these tie straps. I mean, it's a lot of cards also. Some people need this whole thing, but they should just take it down and cut it. Yeah, I'm not sure why so much card was used in that section there. Yeah, this is my card. And this was the easiest slip knot I would have done around the root of it. So so I can move it. The tomato. But yeah, that angle that I was just a bad angle. But I'd go and move it, obviously, but then when I come, I'd have it on the tomato plant and it would kind of hold it. I don't pull it all the way, obviously, give it to tomato plant and the body to move and room. And as it run up the tomato, obviously, you create the tension. Yeah. So these cards are kind of pretty fat, guys. Honestly. For some of these smaller tomato right now. But, so yeah, like for example, this one right here. Create my little slip knot. So yeah, I don't know what was happening with that one over there earlier. Still a lot of card, this card here, but it's fine. Yeah, it's kind of simple how I get those string to start my vertical option. That's literally 15 individual tomato right now we got going, which is all Roma, is that species. Great Italian tomato for sauce making. Let's see if I turn this around and give a little vertical demonstration. Nope, it's not gonna work. Alright then, that's good to know. Yeah, we already get those tomatoes in Roma. We're just getting some string on it. If you're joining the live, I appreciate you. Give me a subscribe. If you're new to the channel. This is Nick from Yardman Gardener, not Stevie, and we're just getting this garden bed prep with all these tomato and all these other plants that we start from seed. Another nice tomato. this string was from last season, so this need to get out of the way for now until I figure out where I'm gonna use it and which direction it's going. But for right now, it's not aligned with anything that I'm using, and I get it out of the way. But yeah, my string, and guys, I'm gonna show a different demonstration as well from planting a tomato. That was supposed to go on the string. That's funny. But yeah, planting one from start. You can actually put the string underneath the root of the tomato instead around the body of the tomato. But I already planted the tomato, so I've been just coming doing a slip knot and then bringing it up around the body of the tomato. String I can actually wrap one more time around this section here and get it up. And as the tomato go, guys. But I'm keep moving there. I should be going in this one right over here. I don't know what I'm doing. So I put this extra card that going across, so I have the support. Now I'm overlooking it and putting it on the wrong angle. You cannot see my height, sorry about that, but I can only move the tripod to so much angle right now. You kind of get in the lower angle at a better view. So yeah, this tomato get bigger and keep growing up. We move the tension of the wire or of the cord. And then we can always get it going, and support better with more tension. But for now, we're just giving them that ready start as far as getting the string closer. So yeah, both this string, I don't know why I tie them on this. Yeah, that is funny. Paying attention to my angle here, guys. String is definitely to go over here on this tie strap. All right. I feel most of our tomato is under strap right now, so it's definitely a mission accomplished for sure. Oh, except that one at the end there. I need to get that one bigger one there at the end. Which by then I get that angle you won't see the top angle even more so. Yeah, a simple string. Just coming in, creating a slip knot is the name of this tie. And the slip knot, guys, is where you can move it, and bring it in. And bring it in too tight to the tomato plant, obviously. I don't want it to choke and squeeze on the plant. So it's just getting a nice little knot. Because I'm not creating too much tension on the plant as much. So we got that lower part in. I'll bring this thing up and show you what I'm doing up top. Obviously, it's just anchoring it. So you go on my anchor. Oh yeah, I don't have anyone to move the lens here, guys, for me. So same thing, I'm just coming up the top, creating a leverage. And as the tomato grow, you're gonna wrap it around it, obviously. So this is just the start of it. Yeah, I'm just creating a little slip knot as well. So I can easily come and remove it later on. As the tomato grow and I need to move the tie. But unless the guy told this ties, depends on it when the tomato start to grow. And I wrap it around it. Let me get back this thing down back on my lower angle. Again. My way of moving my own thing, but it's working. At least is what I think, right? So yeah, just come in and wrap the tomato as it go. Kind of just wrap it around the card, and give it support. So that's a vertical way of growing, guys, tomato. And as far as having limited space, so you can grow more tomato in a smaller space. Most definitely. Yeah, take this down a bit here. This is all what we got in today. It's like 15 to be exact. It's all Roma tomato. We're going down by row. And still have a lot of tomato, guys, to plant out. Over this angle here. I was losing my seeds. So I have some onion seed. I need to start these as well. The red onion. I have some of the seed that I need to get in, like pop chai. It's a quick crop. Some basil. Definitely need to plant some basil even right this very moment in the seed. But so far this is our tomato row. So that's like 3 rows starting of one species, which is the Roma tomato. going on. So there's 7 going in each line, each row. So they're not necessarily too far apart from each other, but they're not too close to each other either, to say that once I'm working with my vertical, I can confine and keep them at a good level, where I can, I'm just thinking, overthinking a bit as well. I'm just thinking these bays right now. Oh yeah, I can contain them for sure, is where I was getting. But they're not that close to each other to say, coming from this angle, you can see where I'm going. That's my first one on this end. Second, third, So, to say that they're not that close to each other coming from this perspective. They're more closer to each other from that angle, I would say, because I'm trying to utilize this space in the 10 gear as much. But there's still a good foot and some apart, at least these two here, and and the opening, the gap between them. So I feel like, not feel like, and I'm guaranteeing you that I can contain these by pruning all the extra sucker limbs and give it a more straight vertical grow. And hey, these are some basil, and as we stand here, we should definitely get some of these basil going in between the roots here. So, and I open up my package of basil right here. Have this card right in the view of the camera. That's funny. We just move it on another angle right here. Earlier I had the tension on these, and when I put the here we go. And I put the tie strap earlier, and I'm saying tie strap, I did not know tie strap. There you go. That's more. That's more it right there. Thing was falling loose apart. It's more stronger, guys. When you come, you can, as these tomato grow, you come up, you can always weave it in a bit, give it support. So we're getting these tomato chain to go vertical, so can grow more in a smaller space. But yeah, I was referring to these strap. I add in at the top for more tension and for support for that other inner part. I think it's wobbling so much. Yeah, where I was going. So that's supporting that whole new row that I create. Last season I did this actually from tomato cage wire, which is what still I'm using to support the first group. It is working great, but I did that, this two thing here in the middle, create a whole new top support to anchor my string up top. So yeah, definitely finish with tomato planting for this video. Just need to get these one watered in. Bunch of tomatoes still. Got a bunch of kale. Tomorrow morning I put some of these kale in. or sometime tomorrow for sure. That's a marigold. Need to get these jaguar marigold. Same thing, guys. These were just overgrown into the seed starter, and by the time I put them in, they were already blooming and everything. So they're just ready to go in the soil to start to get bigger body and take off stronger. These are a little better, and as you can see, these were among some of what I was planting out from earlier in between the bed. And then got a whole good here as well. But I also want to plant some basil. That's what I'm going to get back to my basil here. Before I forgot. Same forgot I'm using the past. Before I forget. Put about this thing down to rest. I'm going to plant some basil in between the middle of some of these tomato row. Like the middle here. Down in the middle. I do some basil. Right this moment. We have some new basil plant coming up between the tomato. Both for companion plant and consumption in the kitchen as well. But the thing, guys, with basil and marigold, I'm learning that it's not actually that they run the pests off so much. Are they so great as a pest control? It's just that some insect, especially tomato flies, and some of those insects that come around your plants trying to destroy. It just masks the smell is what some of these things do, like the marigold and them. I think I put too much basil in that little hole a while ago. But yeah, the basil and the marigold, guys, mask the scent or throw off the scent of the plant. So like, a lot of insect trying to find your plant. They smell the marigold and the basil. So that kind of why, in the sense that it works so well as far as protecting your plant. Like I said, it's not even in the sense that there's such a pest control. It's just that they mask the scent. Yeah. But yeah, they mask the scent of the plant. That the pest is trying to find. So whether it's tomato or whatever. And speaking in this moment, we're referring to tomato. Planting some basil. Some basil here, guys. I think, and I don't know how to. I don't know how to disable it at the moment. And I get this thing to go down in the ground. So I can show you guys I'm starting a whole line of basil, right? At the root of my tomato then there. There we go. Already have some marigold going. Oh, all right. Here you go. Some basil. Well, I'm just kind of adding a little organic soil to support. So this is just really at the root of these tomato here. It is a good position for these basil to be at. Supporting these tomato from that outside defense. So I'm glad I'm actually get these in the moment. So I'm just adding a little soil to top off the top of it. Get some nice basil seed in. I'm just gonna sprinkle some here in it. Give them a little room apart from each other, yeah. I'm not even gonna bury these really much. I'm gonna come with a little more soil and top it off. I'm gonna take a little thin layer of soil and just cover them over a bit. If too much grow in one root, I might move them as they sprout. But for right now, it's creating a nice little defense barrier for my tomato. Then. Probably continue going all the way down the line actually. You can put this thing a bit more further here. Hold on. Get this thing back here. Try this again. Oh, man, even though it's the garden bed here, I'm pushing this metal thing from the tripod down in the soil. And it's pretty hard soil as far as down further down in the soil. So yeah, just gonna add more soil along the way. I guess this whole section here is our basil valley. We're gonna call it. A bunch of basil guys gonna just start to come up in this angle here. When I start to add, and I don't remember where I stopped from. But like I said, if there's too much come up in one section, I just thin it out a bit and move some. And we have basil that fell on the floor there where I didn't want it. So there's more basil going in position where I didn't want it necessarily. Way about here. Just getting some basil in the ground. Get some of the soil to top it off a bit. And we bring the hose over in a second here to water them in. Oh yeah, that's a good push right there, guys. Get some basil in by the tomato. Gonna go by the top section here. not really even all soil. I thought this is like grass and no leaves. I'm just gonna start some basil root around the perimeter here as well up this side. When they come up, I can always add some soil and support them more, you know. They're not seeing me so much in the camera. That's what I'm up here doing. Get some more basil seed in the ground. I just think that the quicker I can get these basil seed in the ground, then I can have basil established around the perimeter of my tomatoes. So that's a plus from that. I do have some couple basil plant inside the house. That's not enough as far as being a bit of a pest control, more of pest deterrent. Like I said, it's not like it run the pest necessary, rather than the mass descent of the plant that is around, especially being tomato, so that the pests have it harder to find that plant. So then that basil and that marigold then act as a plant repellent in that sense, or as a pest control. But in real reality, that's how it works. It's really not to say that it run the insects or the pests away, rather than the mass descent from the pests. You know, so it's a strong plant, you know, marigold as well as basil. So that repellent smell repel the pests, kind of send them on a different angle, different signal away from your plant. That's kind of how marigold and basil work as far as pest control. And then that whole science of some people say that it make your tomato sweeter. You know, that is yet for something to be proven in the sense of science. You know, but sometimes science come from experiment of people, 1 and 2 people in there way, you know, of trying stuff. So I'm not gonna knock it if somebody say that for years they've been growing tomato and basil together, and that basil make the tomato sweeter. You know, can you tell somebody that that is not a true fact? You know. So, but for what I know, and what I'm learning is that the marigold and them does necessarily run the insect away rather than the mass descent of the surrounding plant that is around. So hence why you don't have much bug attack or pest attack, as in that marigold scent is hiding your plant, so that they don't basically know that your plant is sitting there. That's kind of how the science of that works. Let's get those marigold, some water here, guys. Been running this live for good almost a couple of hours now, so we're gonna go to the end. Getting these nice, beautiful tomato water in. Normally I don't have so much water pressure going, but I already have this thing going on and the tripod in my hand. before I end this live, I just want to get these plants some nice water. So they are already gonna be going into the ground tomorrow. So not to worry about them getting beaten up a little bit. But I'm holding the tripod at the moment, so this is the angle I'm coming from. Hey guys, these are all seed, all tomatoes that start from seed. All from seed. And when they're alive, that's what we put in today. Good amount of Roma tomato. This thing to stop. Alright, definitely have our work cut out for the season. Still ahead of us. Still have a lot of plan to go in. And I'll be getting some of those other tomato in tomorrow as well as some of this lettuce, especially. To start eating lettuce. So I'm most likely ready to start pick some leaf, but they're still in the plant starter, the small container right now. So I need to be in the soil. Already. Alright guys, I'm gonna cut this one here. Take this one at this point here. Alright. This is the man behind the camera. It's mostly planting, so you know, haven't seen me much. But peace up, love to the people. Appreciate whoever joined the live today. And of this video may resurface as far as when I reshare. You know, you can watch from there. So yeah, always much love to the people. Stay love and stay positive. And keep the blessings on shining the light. You know, keep growing your organic food. You know, and keep spreading the love and the joy. You know, so much love to the people of the world. Much peace and prosperity. Feel good I get these tomato in the ground. Oh, have this water. Kind of attack me. I saw it was coming around. It's what I have going in the garden bed. There you go. Nice. A nice watering going on anyway. So these tomato I know they're gonna be waking up tomorrow, realizing that they're into a new nice environment. Just ready to take off. So yeah. So yeah, peace to the people. One love. Catch you on the next video. You know. In a couple of weeks from now you come in this bed. It's gonna be flourishing. So stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel. Do the right thing. I appreciate your love and your support. See you on the next one.